Hi, Nick here from Pods with Nick and James. Just a quick one before we get into this podcast. I want to say a massive thank you for the support that we've received since starting these podcasts. We thoroughly enjoy it and we look forward to creating more. If you want to have your say on any topics that we've discussed or suggest future topics, then you can do so at www.reddit.com/r/Nick and James Pods. And if you want to support us, you can do so for from as little as £1 a month, and you can do that at www.patreon.com/pods with Nick and James. Anyway, back to the podcast.
Hello and welcome back to Pods with Nick and James, and for today, 2 become 3, and today this is Pods with Nick, James and Adam. Welcome Adam, how are you?
Hello Nick, thank you for having me. I'm doing well, how are you?
Not too bad mate, not too bad, and of course as always joined by James. How you doing mate?
Not too bad. Modelling on through.
So we thought we would come to episode 10. I'm amazed that we managed to make it to 10 podcasts without getting utterly frustrated with each other, but well done, James, for stomaching me for the 10 episodes now. But on the 10th episode, we decided that we were going to do a special and introduce or invite a friend along to join us. And for this special, we've decided to go with Adam's topic, and Adam chose. What did you choose, Adam?
So we're going to have a little discussion about technology and narrowing that down because technology is quite a broad subject to mainly sort of privacy and data and sort of how, data is manhandled and misused and all that good stuff.
Awesome. So thanks for that. What do you think of the topic, James?
I think it's a fantastic topic, and like we've already dipped into bits and pieces of this. You're absolutely right to specify what technology is, because even a sandal in ancient times is a form of technology. Anything that mankind picks up and uses as a tool is a piece of technology. But what you have chosen specifically holds a lot of interest for me and has some real legs to it. So without further ado, we'll go back to you.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, shows this obviously. Your viewers probably aware that you guys worked together, and that's how I met these two fine established gentlemen. So we worked for a little while in IT, and so we've all got this mutual interest. So I thought this would be quite a cool little topic. Maybe we've all got a little bit of life events and life advice to bring to the table. So just start things off, gents. How secure do you think your data is?
Not very secure.
Fabulous. So, James?
I'm really sorry. I'm really worried. Although me and Nick, I genuinely say would get on. Our views are different. I'm really worried that me and you are literally going to be parallel on this one, because when it comes to, or maybe actually I'd go further, I'd say it's not secure at all. When I click the yes I agree button, it's because I assume I don't read through the terms and conditions quite often when I click that thing, and a lot of people don't, is because unfortunately my somewhat satirical and sarcastic view of it is I assume that I have no rights, that they're going to use my data however they want, and that there's nothing I can do about it, either use their service or don't. And I'm sorry to be so negative and start things off on such a bad foot. Anyway, sorry. Is that true, or is that just paranoia?
Well, you're on sort of a negative sort of output on that. Your data is fairly secure. Obviously, there's many
Really?
sort of privacy laws and stuff that people have to abide by if they're manhandling data. So obviously we know we've all got the GDPR, that companies that hold more than, I think it's like 1,000 records of data, they have to abide by. You can't hold data for more than you need to. You can't. It has to be stored securely. Only people that need access are given access. So in a nutshell, in the grand scheme of things, it is fairly secure. However, there are such things as data breaches. And they're sort of the scary thing, whether they're caused maliciously or through people not doing their due diligence.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, it's one thing having Anonymous target a website and steal thousands of people's data, and then it's one thing Jeff down the road who's got his little black book because he refuses to go to the digital age, and he leaves it on the bus, and it's got all of his passwords in it and his credit card numbers and all sorts of things, because that in itself is a data breach. It's not necessarily
I mean, I
someone's
speak up.
hacked into a server.
I speak up every time. I mean, obviously, within my role, I screen connect to other machines around the country, sometimes even outside of the country, but mainly inside the country. And when I screen connect to these companies, there have been occasions where plastered on little Microsoft Windows post-it notes, sticky notes, are login names and passwords. And on one particular machine that I connected to, this lady opened her Excel spreadsheet in which she had every single login she had for any program and her password next to it. Now, I always call it out. If I see something and I'm like, whoa, hold on, you can't do that, then I tell them and I explain why. Not in an arrogant or an abrupt way, but I just kind of go, look, for your own sake, you cannot do that. You have to have, I at least say, have a physical barrier between like your computer and your passwords. So if you're gonna be that insecure with your data, at least put it on your phone. Like, don't have it all on your computer, because now if I lock you out of your machine and just use your machine, I have all the information I need right there to do whatever I want. And I'm not going to do that because I work for a reputable company and I like to think I'm quite a reputable person. However, I know that there was a time our Screen Connect software, the website was phished. So there was a variant of our website which was different by I think one letter. I think there was a number instead of a word, which was quite a simple thing to get wrong. But as soon as you connected to that, it downloaded the screen share and somebody started screen connecting to that machine. And it was something that was flagged to our security team and it was handled by the legal system. But it happens that quickly and that easily. And if you're that insecure with your data, what's the point in keeping passwords? You might as well just go, you know what, if I want to go on that website, if I type in my name, you just let me in,
I mean, yeah, you're 100% right, Nick. People just, it's people not realising the danger behind it. Now, obviously, I work in IT, and I work for, in layman's terms, a life insurance company, and I'm sort of the main IT of the company, so I don't deal with other people outside of the company. I'm mainly internal people. And all these people, when they start, they're all given an induction, and they're all told, don't do this, don't use the same password for everything, don't put your password on a sticky note on your desktop, don't have a notepad file full of passwords and stuff, because as a life insurance broker, I've got access to, customers' names, phone numbers, email addresses, any health questions they've had to answer, and so do the agents that make the calls. And it confuses me, and it's so back-ended when I get a message from one of the agents and saying I'm having a problem with my computer, and they've just screenshot their entire screen and send me a picture of the person's name, their address, their bank account details. It's like, whoa, what are you doing? Delete that bloody message. And they're all trained on it, but it's just simple things like that where someone's like, oh, this update won't go away, and they've just got stuff on their screen, and it's just people just don't think. Because I could, they know that I'm IT and they know that I'm working IT, and I won't steal that data. But what happens if I accidentally leave my desk open and someone does come in and see that data? Well, then whose remit does that fall under? So it's just I can't just it honestly boggles my brain when I have to see these things sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you got any horror stories, James, that you've experienced?
Annoyingly, just more of the same. Like, as you've said, Microsoft sticky notes are mostly used for passwords, and a lot of those passwords are to products which then contain other people's personal data. I think the best one I've had. I don't know. Like, sometimes people go old school, and sometimes the old school stuff is in some ways safer. Like, I had one person return a request for change form, which is something that is required in order to change things by post, which isn't necessarily secure. Sorry, you know what? That's different. But like, yeah, you know what? In short, I've seen a lot of stuff that I'm not supposed to see.
Now,
And quite often, I do remember, I do love it when directors of companies let you on their machine, and then they don't just kind of let you see the Excel document for their own passwords, but the passwords for all of their members of staff.
Not just their password for the thing you're helping them with, but their password for their accounting's product, their password for their HR products, and their password
Yeah.
for everything else on top of that.
Yeah, and their
You know.
secretary's passwords as well.
Yeah,
So if I
exactly.
wanted to, I could take a quick screenshot of that, commit fraud, and have multiple people, put multiple people's accounts involved in it. At which point, it's then very hard to track.
Exactly. I mean, obviously it's all IP based and stuff, but they're not going to remember that the person they spoke to on the phone helping with one thing stole their data. Obviously, because there's that element of trust, isn't there, between service desk and IT consultants and support people with their customers. They sort of just are trusting enough that we're not going to do that.
yeah,
But still, it's like they shouldn't have. If you leave, there's leaving the key under the doormat, and there's leaving the door wide open.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
it.
I came up with a flawless tactic to combat this. This is me having one of my rants at my desk one day, and I came up with an absolutely flawless technique to combat um, the problems that we quite commonly face on the service desk, and that is the introduction of a technology license. And the idea behind this is if you are over the age of 16 and not disabled, as in not unable to use technology. I think there should be a bit of a green pass to that kind of situation. But also, if you're like old, then like there should be a bit of an allowance given for you then, because let's face it, my nan is never going to use a computer comfortably. She's the kind of person that's going to use one finger to type out her entire email address, and it's going to take 4 hours to do it. But the idea is there's going to be a license, so you have to pass a test to obtain a license to use a computer or a phone or a light switch, just any kind of technology, because the amount of times when I talk to people, for example, I say to somebody, can I connect to your screen? And they go, yeah, sure, how do we do that? And I say, go to this web address, and they go, how do I do that? And I'm like, hold on, you can't go to a web address? Like, you can't go to an internet page? You won't open it? And the one that gets me is when I get somebody go, oh, is that on the Googles? And I'm like, okay, now I'm done.
But the thing is, as well, it's usually like head of HR that says that.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
never the security or the secretary, sorry, that's on at the front desk. They know exactly what they're doing. But it's usually someone like high up in the company that's like, sorry, what's a file explorer?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
all for Jesus.
I know it's a bit of an IT technician's rant, but I firmly believe that there should be a bit more stringency taken when it comes to people being able to use computers, especially in places like the workplace, When
But
you're
professionally.
yeah, well, like when you're in charge of more than just your own stuff, yeah. Like my phone, it connects to my bank account, it connects to like my things. But what I don't have the ability to do with my phone is connect to thousands of other people's data. Yeah. Um, so how I manage that is up to me.
Yeah. I mean, you do connect, but not directly. But I get what you mean, yeah. Because your phone obviously has access to other things. Your phone could be infected with malware, and that malware could spread through various apps and stuff that
Yeah.
you use.
Yeah.
So, in a way, yes. But on the similar lines, do you guys know what the largest data breach was? And by largest, I mean number of like records stolen.
Was it a Sony one?
Nope.
No. Okay. Then I don't know, because Sony was huge.
Sony was huge. I can't remember the exact figures, but there was one that's recorded as bigger. Now I don't know when this was taken. This survey. James, any idea?
Hmm. It's not the one that affected our company, is it?
No.
Okay, fantastic.
So there's a website out there called Cam4. Now I'm told this is for gentlemanly pleasures. Do with that information what you will. But in 2020, they were subject to a data breach where 10.88 billion records were seized by hackers. This included data such as the full names of people, email addresses, sexual orientation, chat transcripts, email correspondence, password hashes, IP addresses, and payment logs for 10.88 billion records. So
Wow. That's like 20 busy men.
yeah, yeah, that's a jolly good afternoon. Yeah, but you know it's remarkable, you know, and that was 2020, and there was one as well before that by Yahoo. I think this one was put out a little bit. This got quite a lot of media attention because obviously it's not an adult website. But Yahoo in 2017, 3 billion accounts.
Yeah,
got
it's why I stopped
got
using Yahoo Mail.
yeah, that was including names, email addresses, encrypted passwords, and security questions and answers in plain text.
Oh,
Because why not encrypt things?
I mean, encryption's just for tech nerds, isn't it?
Apparently so. I mean, so they encrypted the passwords, but didn't encrypt the security questions and answers. So you just logged on when I forgot my password and just do the answers and get the password that way. Sure.
Yep, fine.
You know.
No problem. I haven't got a problem with that.
So you know, it's all these big companies. Do you want to hear about some of the silliest breaches that I've managed to find?
Yeah, go on.
So in 2013, Glasgow City Council had a data breach when a folder containing sensitive documents, including job applications, contracts, and bank details, was found by a pedestrian on a public street. It was suspected that the folder blew out of a window.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Wait.
Glasgow's quite windy. And
it is, but
yeah, just so a pedestrian on the Glasgow street was walking along, found I'm presuming a brown folder that said confidential on the front of it, flicked it open, and there was job applications and contracts and all sorts of other things that was just lying on the street. And then it's just things like that. And then we all know about the UK Ministry of Defence who left a laptop on a train.
Yeah, that's one I was about to bring up. Yep.
To be fair, like they're not great generally. Like I'm not gonna go into exact details, but a friend of mine has the same name as somebody who works in the Ministry of Defence, and she just kept on receiving
James Bond.
No, but she just kept on receiving just really sensitive data, and every single time she just kept on saying, "Hi guys, I'm not this person. Please stop sending me this stuff." And at that point, they like the response was always, "Oh, this isn't as bad as it seems."
She should have replied in
swear.
Russian. That'd have got them a bit twitchy.
Oh, fantastic.
And it's, oh, Janet, you silly goose. Of course it's you. Have this list of terrorists. Yeah. And there's another one in 2017 where the NHS, who, you know, we hold dearly in this country, but by God are they silly sometimes. They sent out an email to 37 people disclosing their HIV status because they put people in the CC field rather than the BCC field. So 37 people were told of 36 other people's HIV status as well as their own.
No, that was intentional. What they wanted to do was start a support
Create a
group.
support group. Yeah.
And here's 36 other people you can have a chat with.
Oh, brilliant. No, it's not very good at all. Just. Oh,
We've not got funding, so why don't you set up your own support group?
That's it.
Yeah, it's just, but yeah, it's just data can go missing in all sorts of different ways, can't it?
Yep.
It's not criminals all the time. I think more than half the amount of times it's not criminals. It's usually negligence
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
people's own silly things and leaving sticky notes on their desktops or little black books or folders blowing out of windows. It's just crazy. It's crazy.
I mean, I've spoken with a couple of IT companies, and obviously we've got a certain security protocol with the software that we use, in which, like, if you were to come to me and say, "Oh, I need this, like, your software installed on my computer," there's a set process that I go through, certain boxes that need to be ticked, and like security policies that need to be implemented. Then you get onto like a company's own IT company who is doing my job for that company. So instead of, like, basically I go to that IT company and go, okay, basically what you're going to do from here is you're going to do X, Y, and Z. You're going to install this, then you're going to install this, and then you can run this. And they go and do that for the 100 people that work for that company. And then you get a phone call from a worker in that company later on, and what they've actually done is they've bypassed 2 of your security protocol in order to make it convenient for the staff. And you end up sitting there having a heart attack going, "Oh, no, you can't, no, you can't, no, you can't do that." And the fact that it's an IT company that have done that, you kind of sit there and you go, why are you paying them lots of money to look after your data when they're not looking after your data?
I mean, yeah, that usually happens when you have like out of house IT.
Yeah,
when
yeah.
all the companies hired another company to do your IT for you. They're not invested. I mean, financially they are,
Yeah.
but they're not investing in your data. They don't care about your data. All they care about is you're paying them at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So,
But that's my problem with every single company. It's at a point where, yeah, I don't know how to put it. Just the fact that nobody's looking after the other person's good or interest. It's all
money.
It's just the bottom line. It's just yeah. And I guess that's the thing that just kind of annoys me and doesn't surprise me, that there's a lot of negligence when it comes to other people's datas and other people's being just oh, sorry, you know what, I don't know where I could quite easily get quite angry.
It's probably written somewhere in a contract that you have to care, but I mean, who reads the fine print?
Oh, exactly. And on the topic of fine print, have you watched much of Black Mirror?
I don't. I'm going to be honest with you, Nick. I don't watch TV, mate.
You don't watch TV?
No,
James?
I haven't got the attention span for it.
a friend of mine, so several of my more intelligent and discerning friends
Oh, I don't believe that for a second, James.
are massively into Black Mirror. However, I will admit, I have seen one episode. It was an episode which was a parody of Star Trek. I watched it
Oh, yeah.
because there was an element of it that was a parody of Star Trek, and as a result of that, I watched it.
Yeah.
You know, like, but I have heard. To be fair, I've been put off the first episode because I've had the plot explained to me in depth, and my mates have gone into just how good it is and why it's so great, and
I
it's
mean,
just like,
There are some episodes that are better than others, but I will say that Black Mirror is fantastic.
it's
such
a smart
good,
show.
It's such
It's
a
a
good
smart show,
program.
is what I've heard.
But one episode that I want to really go over is an episode which I'm pretty sure if the viewers have, or the listeners have watched any Black Mirror, they'll be sitting there like shouting the name of the episode out already. It's called Joan is Awful. And essentially, this woman works for a corporation. All you see is this woman starts the day, goes to work as normal, sits down at her desk, has to fire someone, as you would expect to happen in her role in the company, fires this person, gets a text message from an ex-boyfriend, and goes home to her husband after meeting up with her ex-boyfriend for a drink, ends up kissing him, regrets everything, goes home to her boyfriend, and then is sat there with her current partner watching TV, and her life starts playing to her on the TV. And basically, it's AI generated footage because she'd ticked the terms and conditions. Inside the 400-page terms and conditions was that this company, which is just a rebranded Netflix, shall we say, has the right to then use her life's happenings as footage, as episodes. And it makes it more personal, and it makes people more engaged, and that's their idea behind it. But she's got no right to go and turn it off. And as much as like the episode goes a bit further than that, like the ground of it is like people don't read the terms and conditions of a lot of things. They just click away, type, oh yeah, I'm fine with that, click, bang, that's it, done. And the terms and conditions, I mean, I've heard tell that anything that you put on Facebook or any Facebook owned application is property thereof Facebook. Like, as soon as you put it on there, it's no longer your photo anymore. It's no longer your post anymore. It is Facebook's data. And your phone listens to you because you tell it can do that. And it listens to you and then gives you adverts based on what it can hear of you. You know? And you're like, but that's eavesdropping. Like, if you're listening to me to give me adverts, then what else are you listening to me for? If when I post this picture online, it's no longer my data, it's no longer my picture, then like, who owns it? Where's it going from there? Because I no longer have control of that. That's now somebody else's, and that can be used again and again and again, willy-nilly by these companies. And it really does bring that home, and I think that's what they were going for when they made that episode of Black Mirror. Was like, be careful what you're doing. As much as nobody ever does, please be careful. Like, it's not all just a given that they're going to look after you. Somebody might actually go, you know what, we're not going to. We're going to use our rights to completely do the opposite of look after you and make loads of money off of you.
I will be honest with you. If you look back through human history, our records of looking after the other isn't great. Just generally. I realise that's like saying the sky is blue, but
I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, Jesus Christ literally came to earth, told us how to live good lives, and then we nailed him to a cross. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, yeah. I
mean, in a nutshell.
what I wonder about how much does our phone actually hear? Because, like, am I going to be, for example, am I going to go to the toilet, come out, and then have it say, oh, we noticed that your pee cycle is slightly longer than average or slightly shorter than average. Have you thought about being tested for diabetes?
Mm.
I mean,
like,
eventually, probably, James,
Eventually,
you
yeah,
say
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Eventually, there's all sorts of stuff in the pipeline. I mean, that was one of the things I was gonna mention, Nick, about your phone always listening. I watched a video of someone. It was on YouTube, so take with that with a pinch of salt. But the gentleman unpacked a brand new phone straight out of the box. He signed into it with his brand new Google account, put it on his desk, and then started going on about how he really needs to go out and buy a new toy for his nephew. He really wants a new toy, and he likes the colour blue. It'd be really good if I had some blue toys. And continued as such for about like 5 minutes, and then just went onto Google and just searched through and flicked his finger, and no doubt there was toys, kids' toys, and there was specifically blue toys, and things were angled towards young boys that you buy your nephew. And it was a brand new phone on a brand new Google account, and it found it because it's always listening. There's always stuff going on. I mean, no doubt, probably because we've mentioned before about recording this podcast. My phone's probably picked that up, and I'm going to get targeted adverts for a nice brand new Yeti Snowball microphone and a nice pop filter, and and all these sorts of things, because that's what people who record podcasts usually have. So it's probably already in the pipeline. It's probably saved on my Google profile in some big database in San Francisco, wherever Google's located nowadays. That I recorded a podcast once.
That exact scenario is the reason I deleted Facebook off of my phone. I was talking to my partner about Christmas presents and mentioned a specific toy store, went on my phone, opened up Facebook, that typical mindless scrolling that you do whilst you're conversing with people, opened Facebook, and the first advert right in front of me was this toy store, and I was like, no, I'm done. I just deleted Facebook there and then, was like, no, you're not doing that. But my phone still does. Google still throws things at me that I've been talking about, and I'm like, no, I don't want you doing that. No.
Yeah, if you go onto a website that accepts cookies, it's effectively saying we're okay to do targeted stuff, and we're okay to do this sort of style thing. So it's all recorded somewhere. It's not just Facebook. Obviously, Facebook's owned by what are they called now, Meta, and that sort of group, and obviously Google's its own thing. So they're all got separate brands, and probably got separate databases. If they decide to share that data, it's probably unlikely, but just because Google's got something on you doesn't mean Facebook has. But onto sort of Facebook as well. What do you think, Nick and James, about when you go for a job interview and they scroll through your socials and try and find out if you're a maniac or something? Do you think that's sort of a bit creepy?
I mean, they'd be bitterly disappointed on mine, because I haven't posted anything on Facebook or Instagram in about 4 years, so I don't exist as far as social networking goes at the moment.
I mean, I think people have a right to privacy, and I think that people should be allowed to go out and, if they want, take photos of having a nice time and not have to worry about, I guess it's a public. If you post it on a public domain, expect a public response. This is something that a friend of mine constantly, no, that's not fair, often talks about, but he uses it. No, I'm going to stop myself there, because that's also right. Specifically to do with this. Fine, short answer, Adam. Yes, that's fucking creepy. I don't think they should be allowed to do it. I don't think that. I think that it's a tool that happens nowadays, and as we are all applying for jobs in separate towns, separate places, a lot of stuff's online now. There's too many people to police. we've got too many physical walls in place, and everybody's got too much space, too much stuff, too much privacy. So of course, companies have found ways of looking around that, and people who want extra information have found ways around that. It just annoys me though that even in that situation, it's not going to be the best person who gets the job. It will be the person who covers their tracks the best.
Exactly. I mean, the way that I thought about the whole situation is, Nick, imagine you're applying for a job and you sit down and the interviewer brings out a tattered book, and you look over and you see Nick Thorpe, year 2, and they flick through and go, "So, Mr. Thorpe, it says here you think Rolf Harris was a good man. Sorry, we don't like paedophiles here," and then you don't get the job based on that. It's very similar to how people who go through your socials will be identifying it.
Yeah, there's definitely two sides to the story, though, isn't there? Like, if the tool exists, then people are going to use it. The only thing I'll say is, like, is there really any need to post it in the first place? If you're worried, if you're concerned that it might be used, then why are you posting it in the first place? You know?
Exactly. You know, if you're posting pictures of yourself, you know, tattooing swastikas on people, and you know, going to KKK marches and stuff, you're probably not a very nice human anyway, and they'll probably gather that through the interview.
Yeah.
When I was, you know, younger, and I was, you know, 10, 20 years ago, and I posted, I thought the Prime Minister was a bit of a twat. Well, then why should that then prevent me from getting a job further down the line in politics? You know,
is the company owned by the Prime Minister?
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not personal. I didn't in that instance, but yes, you know, it's one of those things where it's, you know, why should, you know, 2010 Adam be punished?
No, why should 2023 Adam because of 2010?
Yes, yeah. Sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. You can't go back in time and punch Adam in the face. Like.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I wish you could. Anyway, that's
well done. You avoided a James kind of conversation there. Moving on.
But yeah, you know, it's really, really creepy, and just there is just no privacy. Like I say, if you put something in a public domain, it's now public. That information is, you know, free to use. You know, you don't have people come around your house when you sign up to Facebook reading your Miranda rights. You know, you have the right to remain silent. It's like, well, no, I'm going to post these pictures of my holiday in Magaluf. Thank you very much. But it's just, it's so creepy. Just like the idea of some middle-aged woman going through my social media from 2010, 2012, when I was but a mere child.
Yeah.
And being targeted like that because I had different opinions, and obviously, you know, we grow as people. You know, 13 years ago, I probably believed and did some stupider things that I probably wouldn't do nowadays. So, you know, that shouldn't really impact me getting a job now.
No, you're right. You're right. But like I said, if the tool exists, if the ability to use it exists, what you don't get from people is, what you don't necessarily get from everybody is an upfront, honest display of who this person is. What you get is their performed, auditioned, predefined version of themselves that they want the employer to know. So being able to have that like unfiltered perspective of a prospective employee, it probably does help from an employer's perspective. Like, it probably does really help to ensure that what you're getting is what you want. You know.
Oh yeah, exactly. You know, because I used to work in McDonald's when I was younger, and I had a customer voice. It wasn't this sultry tone that you hear now. It was very much my sexy customer service phone voice. And I always used to get commented when I used to be like in the office or something, talking like a mouth like a drunken sailor. And as soon as I walk out, I say, "Oh, hello there, how can I help?" And you know, if you don't do those sort of background searches, it's why people do the criminal searches and check your criminal records, because then you're not going to be upfront about that in the interview.
Yeah.
It's, oh, by the way, a couple of years ago, I was done for assault on a minor, but can I come work at this school? You know, it's not gonna, you know, you're not gonna be upfront about that in your interview.
To
So
be
they
fair,
have to do.
he did
their
steal
due
my
diligence.
muffin.
Yeah. Yeah, he did call me a really bad word, so I might have ripped his fucking throat out, you know. But you know, it's yeah, you know, you're not if you're not forthcoming with that information, they're going to have to find it from somewhere. You know, I agree that you know if there's a tool about there, you know, is this person a creep.com? You know, you type someone's name in and you get an answer. You know, it exists. People are going to use it, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
That's annoying as well, because imagine you type in your own name.
It's like, oh, this person is a creep.
No, I would not want a website that defines, because I've rubbed a lot of people up the wrong way in my life.
Yeah, same here.
I'm pretty sure I would have many minus karma points on whatever website that would be.
Yeah. Have you heard of this website? I think it's Have I Been Pwned or Have You Been Pwned?
No.
Something like that. You go onto this website, you type your email address in, and it searches for anywhere that your email is listed with their password.
Mm.
And so it's like these sort of public-facing websites that are like, oh, by the way, this email address and its password was released on this many websites and this many databases, and it will let you know what the password that they found is. Obviously, other websites are available, but
Are you advertising now?
yeah, apparently so. But you know, but the amount of times that I used to go on I went on this website when I was younger, and I typed in my email address, thinking, oh, I'm really clever. Nothing's like, oh wait, that's my password. Oh shit. Oh okay. And I have to change it myself because
Reverse.
yeah, exactly. And you know, speaking of sort of self-worth and stuff, do you know how much your data costs? How if you were to give your sort of basic data a price?
Well, I know I
So if
don't get anything personally from my data, which I think is completely backwards. I think if people are making millions and millions of pounds off my data, then I should be entitled to some kind of royalty, right?
I mean, you'd like to think so, but you know, say I was a humble hacker, and I managed to make a little profile that had your name, your address, your sexual orientation, and all this sort of stuff. Do you know how much that would cost?
No,
How much someone would buy that information for?
no.
£4.50.
James, you pride yourself a bit more, sir. The average cost for a person in our demographic in America as of November 2020 is about 11 cents.
Get out of town.
I should be
Yeah.
worth at least 1 cent of that.
I
Like,
like a bit more money.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
I'm insulted
I don't
that
mind.
it's that cheap.
it is what it is. People are going to use my data as soon as I put it online. They're going to use it, but at least like show me some recognition, man.
yeah, but you know, it's just people. It's just your average cost of data. Obviously, it's more for younger people because that's a higher demographic.
You know what I'm going to start
So-
doing?
I am insulted. It's because they've got more of a future to ruin, isn't it?
Pretty much.
You know,
No.
I've decided I'm going to start anything that I'm going to post online. What I'm first going to do is I'm going to print it off, put it in an envelope, and send it to myself, so I can prove that I created it. It's copywritten then. You know, I've got rights to that.
You are your own person.
Yeah. And then I can post it online, and anybody making money off that, I can take them to court.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Sorted.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice if we could do that. But yeah, so according to this this government website, I think it wasn't a government website. That was a lie. But according to this website, if you're aged 18 to 24, your average cost of data per person is 36 cents. Because you're a bit more of a high demographic. Obviously, people don't want to buy one person's data. Usually, it's a database full of thousands. You know, so if you take that into account, someone sells a database with 1,000 names on it. You know, that's $360 just for that one bit of database, which sounds all right. But if you narrow it down per person, it's only 36 cents.
And then you knock
it's 20
royalties off. Like,
Yeah,
not even
yeah,
making that much. Yeah.
Once I get paid for it as well. 25 to 34, it's about 11 cents. 35 to 44, it's 12 cents. 45 to 54 is 27 cents. And 55 plus is 5 cents.
Hold on, so
I
I'm
presume-
12 cents. You undervalued me, man.
Oh, sorry, I forgot that you were an old man. So yeah, you're 12 cents. Obviously, it spikes up to 45 to 54. I presume that's because the more vulnerable adult, see, really, really old and vulnerable people, so 55 plus, they're really dirt cheap. Probably because they're so easy to give their information away. It's not that hard.
Look, is it really
see,
their
like,
data
YouTube,
if they can't remember it anymore?
Yeah, exactly.
That was a bit harsh. I'm sorry. That was so heartless.
So, but then that's for like basic data.
Yeah.
So that's sort of basic PII. Do you know how much in America your full healthcare records would cost someone?
Couple of grand.
James, any idea?
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Your full health records, like that's quite a big deal. That's not just, hi, my name is James. I'm from this town.
Yeah,
that's.
We're talking blood type. We're talking any ailments and stuff. Yeah, if you were to put a monetary value on that, obviously, if you were selling, you'd obviously mark it up. But these are people that have.
You see, that's where I went wrong. I was selling, so.
Okay. Honestly, okay, I would say that's worth at least £39.99.
James, you're undercutting yourself. Maybe there's not a lot on your healthcare record. In America, the average healthcare record would cost someone on a dark web about $250. So the
Really
full...
weird. So, like, basic information is 12 cents.
Yeah.
But full, to learn about my bonitis, it's going to cost you $250.
Yeah, obviously, but it's not necessarily for malicious means. That's people that then they can get a better demographic of people, and see, oh well, maybe we just do some more targeted ads based on this because this many people have got this ailment, and those sorts of things. But something else will shock you. Do you know how much it is for card details? So for someone to steal and sell your credit card details.
Does it matter? Does the balance on the account come into account?
It does, but on average.
Okay. Well, mine's probably about
$500.
James has got a lot of money.
He's loaded.
Oh my
Either that or a high credit limit. No, it's divide that by a factor of 10, James. It's about factor of 100. Sorry, $5.40 to get your card details.
Wait. So again, £250 for medical records, which. Yeah, okay, so 200... And is this just the difficulty of the information to get?
It's most likely, yeah, because you would probably have to target someone specifically to get their healthcare records. But if you're getting payment details, you get onto a website, you get into a database, you can have thousands of people's accounts for that. The ease of access of them because they're all going to be in the same place, just under different names, aren't they?
So, criminal record data must be worth a bomb, right?
Probably. On that, in sort of those guards, I don't have the number in front of me.
Although to be fair, you just browse Facebook for that kind of data, don't you?
Exactly. Yeah, is the people post it, I'm in jail again. But yeah, it's just you can put a price on how much someone is. The same way you go, someone cost me an arm and a leg, you can go, £34.50. Because that's how much probably an arm and a leg costs.
I hope when I go for bionic arms and legs, that's how much they cost.
Oh no, an actual arm and leg on ice.
On ice.
The annoying thing here is though, you've got to then you've got to have the fridge freezer, most definitely freezer ready. That's a lot of room.
I feel like we're overthinking this.
Quite possibly.
We're not starting a business, James. Go on, drag it to 10. Start selling your body parts.
Just, you just got to think about these things though, like, because costing an arm and a leg, like, what is someone going to do an arm and a leg with? Like, if you look at what money needs to be, like, it needs to be sustainable. It needs to have the same value to everyone. It needs to be transportable. It needs to not spoil. Arm and a leg doesn't do that. Anyway, sorry, moving on.
Yeah, I say it's just it's sort of, it's just crazy. People go through all this effort to hack websites and get into databases, and people leaving passwords unattended, and laptops unencrypted, and things like that. And at the end of it, you're not worth much in the grand scheme of things, monetary wise. Obviously, we're all just small cogs in the one big machine of life, and
I still want
not
royalties. I don't care.
I say, not that I'm trying to discourage people from bothering to look after your stuff, because see, albeit you're one cog in the machine of life, your cog is very special to you. So people should take a bit more care in their own personal well-being, as well as your online presence, your data footprint, so it would be. But it's just your data is worth a lot more to you than it is to other people. So maybe people should take a bit more care in looking after their own data.
Yeah, absolutely. And not just other people's data, like not just your data, but everybody else's. If you're in a position where you are like yourself, you work for a company that has a database of names, numbers, accounts, etc., etc. You obviously yourself, you pride yourself on being astute and careful when it comes to how you manage that data and how you protect that data yourself. Like, please do that yourselves, guys. Like take the steps, like protect other people's data probably more than you protect your own, because it's not yours. That sounds really pathetic, but yeah, it's exactly what I mean. It's not yours. Be careful.
Yeah. Yeah. You do a lot more
Fair enough.
damage with
Yeah.
it going missing than.
Anyway, have you got any more there, James? Adam?
That's sort of the end of my notes, gents.
No worries. So I thought it being a special, it being 10 episodes in, we could have a little bit of fun. And I drew up 10 questions that I've got based on this topic, which I'm going to pitch to you guys, and then you guys can kind of confer and see if you can come up with the answer to the question yourselves, and then throw it my way, alright? Sound good?
Give it our best shot.
No worries.
I will definitely do my best.
And obviously, listeners,
I will get distracted though.
see how you do
That is
yourselves.
just in my nation.
No problem. It's kind of why I've started now, to be fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
So these are all topics centered around technology. It doesn't necessarily mean computers. It is technology, and it's a broad spectrum. Okay. And also, these questions were written by an autistic bloke, so I'm sorry before we get started. Alright, I'm sorry, but have a bit of fun, alright? So, I'm going to start with question 1. Alright, so question 1. Which 2 blockbuster movie franchises based around technology and its ability to control humanity are linked both by creator and by its lore?
Now you see, I don't watch films, so sort of 2 major blockbuster films.
Franchises. I will say franchises. You've got to be careful with that one.
Okay. Any ideas, James? You with a film person than me.
It's not a Maze Runner and the Hunger Games, is it?
No, not in this instance.
I'm assuming it's probably Matrix
Okay.
mixed with something else.
Is the Matrix one of them? Because that one is,
Yes.
I guess, is the obvious one.
I will say that it is, yes, the Matrix. But
Is Black Mirror made by the same people?
No. They are movie franchises. I will say this.
The
Well, I know it.
Matrix and
Well,
Harry Potter.
the annoying thing here is you said it's law, which that I know it's means it's thing, but unfortunately that had me immediately going to the laws of robotics, which made me then think of iRobot.
No.
But that's written by Isaac Asimov, a writer from the 1950s,
No.
who I'm pretty sure is now dead. So it's not the same.
Not the
not
same.
the same
no,
thing.
No.
Do you mean law as in the LAW law? Or do you mean law?
LORE.
Oh, the back.
Yeah,
okay,
that's
yeah,
what I thought.
okay. So something that goes along with the Matrix. Now, I don't want to trouble your listeners for too much longer with us rambling about movies, because I have no idea.
I
I'm
wasn't.
happy- Yeah.
I wasn't aware of any spin-off to the Matrix series
Wasn't a
other
spin-off.
than the
As a matter of
Animatrix
fact,
series.
as a matter of fact, it came before.
Get out of town.
Yep.
Is it Terminator?
Absolutely.
No.
Yep.
No, get the fudge out of town.
Yep. Look it up, right? Look it up.
Really? That was made by that was what was
Sophia
it written
Stewart.
by the same people?
Sophia Stewart created the Terminator and the Matrix, and they are linked. You think
They're in the
of
same universe.
Terminator as the birth of the machine, taking control over humanity, and the Matrix as humanity taking back control from the machine.
Mm,
Hmm.
mm.
There's so much more to it as well. There's like hints of religion in there as well. Obviously,
Well, in the Matrix and in the Animatrix, like they often, they're just the references are left, right, and center.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
It's-
I
it's
thought that
just-
was absolutely unbelievable when I found that out, so I had to put that in.
I mean, I'm really disappointed now that somewhere in the Matrix there's not people trying to watch TV and then it turns out that there's just a flame inside the TV. No, not getting that reference.
Not getting the
Okay,
reference.
never mind.
No. Phew,
Okay,
straight
fine.
away.
It's in the starting series. It's in the starting
Sequence.
scenes of the Terminator where it's trying to set up the world as an
Okay.
incredibly negative.
Okay.
I thought you were referencing the IT crowd, James.
No, that in turn was referencing like Terminator in its own way.
And walk away.
My pop culture references only goes far back as like the IT crowd.
I mean, what
Okay,
a
I'm an old man,
what a show,
ladies and gentlemen.
What a show. I mean, they even had the internet on there. Yeah, like
Yeah.
Mm.
the internet. It was amazing.
Well, they got the pass from the Hawks.
Yeah,
Mm.
from London Bridge.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, question two. Well done, guys. That was not an easy one. I'll say that. Question two. So you'll probably get this straight off the cuff, but ChatGPT is an active learning language model system. Which AI software is used as its base, and which release is it currently on?
Right. Well, I know it's 3.5.
Damn it! I was going to say 3.
Actually, no. Wait. No, their premium version is 4, but their current
Ooh.
base freemium, yeah, if that's a word, version is 3.5.
If it's not,
Now-
patent it.
But you say what language is it built on? Do you say?
Which AI software is used as its base?
Oh goodness, I think I knew this one. I mean, I'm not gonna, beat around the bush. As a man who uses IT a lot, ChatGPT is very good. It answers a lot of questions that I need answers to sometimes.
In ways that your employee actually believes it's you too.
Oh, exactly. I
Mm.
all the compliments. I don't know on that one.
Okay, sorry. So the question is, what's its point, and then what is it based off of?
So
Is
what
that right?
release is it on? What release is it on?
Okay,
Um,
I'll just say 3, even though I know that that's wrong based from what
well, you've already given
Adam
a
said.
later release, haven't you? Like, you've already both identified that there's a later release to
Okay,
ChatGPT
so
4.
I guess all right. So I guess we'll say 4. I don't know what it's based off of.
OpenAI.
Okay.
OpenAI, ChatGPT 4.
Mm.
So, well done. You got half a point for that one, for
Take
GPT
half
4.
a point.
Does that mean we're currently beating your missus?
Yes, she got 1.
Not in the literal sense, ladies and gentlemen. Like Nick would have.
Perfectly clear.
Nick would
I'll
have
let her know that
totally.
I'll let her know that you're
totally,
on the way. You're on the way to go and beat my missus.
Well, I'm certain you would have broken both my arms already. Anyway, moving on.
Okay.
Don't condone
Okay.
domestic violence here.
No, we do not, ladies and
All
gentlemen.
right.
All right.
Okay. In iRobot, there are 3 laws which govern the behaviour of sentient robots. What are they?
The first rule of robotics is that robots aren't allowed to harm humans. The second rule of robotics is that they are not allowed to harm other robots. And I think the third law of robotics is that they can't harm themselves. The annoying thing is each of the laws has a precedence, and I find all of the original iRobot books, which my dad did. You know, he made an effort. I wasn't a very sociable child. I wasn't an easy child to get along with. He tried to introduce these theories to me way before the Will Smith film. Looks at what happens if you play around with those laws. So in one of the stories, they lower or they heighten the. Oh wait, no. Sorry. Cannot harm humans. Must obey humans. Cannot cause an action that will cause harm to itself.
Well done.
So sorry, it's
Well done.
harm humans,
Mhm.
obey humans, cannot cause action that causes harm to itself.
Yeah.
I love it because in one of the books they created this probe, which is supposed to go out into space, I think it is, and fly into this anomaly and like do its best to like scan it. Because it cost a lot of money and the people wanted their money back afterwards. They heightened the third law to the level of the second law, at which point the robot gets caught in a contradiction because it must obey humans in that it's got to go scan this thing, yet it also can't do anything that's going to cause harm to itself when it perceives danger. So it goes to a certain distance away from this anomaly where the data is still useless and then just circles it. And then you've got you've then got like the iRobot, the film from, was it 2010 or was it 2007?
Will Smith, yeah. It's one of those. I don't know dates, but it's the Will Smith one, yeah.
But yeah, they looked at what a machine does when it starts to question these laws, but then also comes up with its own interpretation of them. So the problem in that film is that, sorry, I'm autistic myself. Occasionally I remember things. I'm just remembering things now. Vicky, sorry, spoilers for the 2000 and something film for thing. Vicky understands that it can't do things which allow to cause harm to humans, but she realizes that by allowing humans to live free and being subservient to them, she is in fact allowing harm to occur to humans.
Because of humans.
And so what she then tries to do is place herself in the head of governments.
Yep.
Because in order to fulfill that first law.
Yep. Which we've discussed in the past, haven't we? You mentioned iRobot when I was discussing like AI as like leadership.
But it's fine. It's a brilliant set of books. I would recommend any of the iRobot series by Isaac Asimov. Isaac Asimov was a science fiction writer. Weirdly enough, he wrote these books before the first computer was truly made. Although you can argue that Ada Lovelace came up with the mathematical equations that made computers possible. He came up with a lot of this stuff before science fiction had made it all possible. Like, loads of people have been scared of Iron Men or the idea of machine people.
Yeah, it's one reason why they made the robots look like robots, isn't it, in iRobot?
Yeah, but like the thing that I really respect about Isaac Asimov is his use of satire as a... You know what? Sorry, guys. Moving on to the next question. I'm not... Sorry, listeners. Apologies.
You're all good.
He's a
The main
he's
point,
a good writer.
rounding it off, the main point is that you got the 3 laws.
2.5, ladies and gentlemen.
You got the 3 laws. Well done, buddy. Well done. Fantastic. So yeah, exactly that. A robot cannot harm a human, or by its inaction allow a human to come to harm. The second law is that a robot shall obey instructions given to it by a human unless that instruction contravenes the first law. And the third law is that a robot shall avoid actions and situations that can cause it to come to harm itself unless it contradicts with laws 1 and 2.
That's it. That's exactly it.
There you go. Okay, so question 4, going on a bit of a history lesson now. So three artifacts were found in Iraq in 1936, which it is thought, when used together, could possibly form the earliest battery ever used. What is it called? The silence is beautiful.
3 artifacts found in Iraq.
Yep, which it is thought that when used together, they could possibly form the earliest battery ever used.
Is it...
In Agamemnon's lemon jar. No.
It's probably something similar, isn't it? It's going to be some form of saline liquid or something in a jar with 2 prongs that maybe the liquid held a charge, similarly to how you can power a light bulb with a lemon.
The bident of weird twitching.
Wrong. You are not wrong. No. The actual name, you've got to think Iraq.
I don't want to appropriate
the Babylonian.
No.
Damn it.
Modern day names for somewhere in Iraq.
The Baghdad Battery.
There you go.
Oh my god, I thought I was being horribly racist, but I said it anyway.
No, it's literally called the Baghdad Battery.
Oh
but yes,
my god.
They found a jar, a copper rod, and an iron prong, which they believe, if you put the 2 in the jar together with some lemon juice, might create a battery. And it was
found
carbon dated.
Blacksmith.
Carbon dated from roughly between 200 and 300 AD.
I think that's just people trying to science things when things don't need to be scienced.
Yeah, I mean that happens a lot. Here's another one. Go on.
The annoying thing is that genius isn't a modern thing. You know, it didn't start in... Again, apologies, my listeners will keep... Yep, sorry, go with the next question, but it's just...
You're fine. Yeah. You really need to finish those thoughts next time, though, James. Mate, we're not bothered. You need to carry on.
Okay,
you leave me with unanswered questions, man. Like, I sit there after the podcast, laying in bed, going, "What was James gonna say?"
Oh, you shouldn't. Don't worry about my thoughts. But anyway, just let's go with these questions.
They're all sultry.
Yeah. Okay, question 5. Christopher Dunn. Does anybody know who Christopher Dunn is?
Related to Christopher Don't?
You are...
I was going to say, isn't he related to Stephen Finished?
Okay, Moving on.
Sorry.
Christopher Dunn, who is an engineer who studied the Egyptian pyramids, wrote a book which explains his theory following 20 years of research. In this book, what does he believe the pyramids actually are?
Is this the one where it's?
Is it a
he thought-
spaceship?
No.
Or is it some sort of antenna, like a satellite dish or something?
No. No. And believe it or not, his science it's spot on. You can see how he came to the conclusion that he came.
This is
I
only
can only-
semi-sarcastic.
I can only think of sarcastic answers. Yeah.
Is it the perfect triangle?
No, because it's not actually three-sided. It's not actually four-sided. It's eight-sided.
No.
The pyramids are eight-sided.
Oh, get out of town! They're 8 sided. No.
Yep.
No, really?
Yep. Look it up. Look it up. And the mathematics on it
Wait,
are
it's
spot
okay.
on.
And so, all right, then I change it. The perfect the perfect octahedron.
No. The pyramids, he believes, were acoustical devices to generate power.
Wait, what?
Might
Yeah.
elaborate on this one a bit more, Nick.
Okay, so
Okay, wait. What kind of power? Are we talking electrical power?
yeah,
How?
how? There's two chambers, lower chamber and upper chamber. Okay. Then they have a big corridor that goes up the side of the pyramid, which has steps, not steps, but like slots in, right? Which he theorizes would have held resonators of some description, something that would cause a resonation if hit with the right frequency, should we say, and that in turn would generate power. Now, if you think about the Great Pyramid of Giza, Khufu's pyramid, there is actually, into the King's Chamber as it's labelled, there is actually two shafts which go out to the surface, right? And in each of those shafts they found traces of different materials, like sulfuric acid. And what they hypothesize is that it was actually like a big chemical cooking pot that you just pour certain materials into those two slots. They go into the King's Chamber and then it mixes together and it forms such a such an explosion in that area because it's so solid in stone around it, because it's tons and tons of stone. It doesn't just blow out. It creates an explosion within itself that then causes these resonators to vibrate and then generate electricity.
So like the earliest form of the combustion engine is what they theorised it was.
Yeah, well, that's what Christopher Dunn theorises it is. And like I said, if you actually look into his theory, like there's a lot of sense there. It makes a hell of a lot of sense. So I'm not one to sit and go, oh yeah, it's absolute bollocks. Like ancient Egypt was built by X, Y, and Z, and this is why. But
Aliens.
you can't rule it out. No, calm down. You can't rule it out.
Man.
You can't rule it out. And likewise, I'm not going to rule out I'm not going to rule out that it was built by aliens either. I wasn't there. I'm not going to know. What I do know is that it certainly wasn't built by hundreds and thousands of Jews dragging stones up on logs, especially the weight of the stones that they were dragging up. It doesn't make sense, and the maths doesn't make sense, and none of it makes sense, so there's got to be something else. And Christopher Dunn's theory is reasonably fantastic.
I'm really sorry, which is no. I will say this. Sorry, I'm sticking to my original theory so far, and I probably will abandon it at one point. But I still reckon it's just that they lied in their history books.
Who, the Egyptians?
They
didn't.
because
The Egyptians didn't. They themselves tell us in their own hieroglyphics that they inherited the pyramids and the Sphinx. They didn't build it.
Wait, get out of town, really?
And yet
Okay,
Egyptologists
that's
will
amazing.
throw that theory straight out the window because, well, it doesn't ring true with what they want to believe. So don't.
But then you can't hold that against them. There's talk of who's the guy who said Eureka? Was that Archimedes? The Greek guy in the bath who, well, was it Pythagoras?
Pythagoras, possibly, yeah, either that or Plato.
Okay, the guy's okay. So like, the
Well,
did you know that?
Pythagoras was educated in Egypt, wasn't he? He was educated in the Great Library of Alexandria. So most of his knowledge
Yes.
came from Egypt.
Well, it's interesting that like people die for all kinds of views all the time. I realise we're going off topic, and I apologise to listeners, but bear with me.
I love
I'm
going
going
off
to finish
topic.
this
Let's
one.
do it more.
Right. Okay. Great. So somebody so Pythagoras. We're going to say Pythagoras. Pythagoras' cult believed that there was no such thing as an irrational number. A student came up with an equation that proved that irrational numbers do exist. Do you think that Pythagoras thanked the man for extending his knowledge and for disproving the theories that have come before?
No,
You
because that's
think he
not how
was
people like that work.
No,
Yeah.
he would have had him killed.
That's exactly what he did. He had him drowned in that bath. No, I'm not even kidding you. That is a horrible historical fact.
I
But
think
that's
as well
reality,
it was
isn't it?
Archimedes.
Archimedes, there we go.
That's reality, isn't it? That is.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
People are threatened by it. If you feel threatened by it, kill it. I mean, I was in
I
Australia.
mean, that is how I act with spiders.
I was in Australia and a redback came walking across the decking towards me and I stamped on it. So
That is entirely, yeah,
it's
to be
instinctual.
fair.
It's instinctual, you know. That is the fifth or sixth most poisonous spider in the world. I felt threatened by it. It was tiny. It was probably no bigger than my little toe, but it's now dead. And I will tell you this: the 20 minutes that followed, I was almost silverback gorilla-esque, beating my chest. I am man. Me, man, kill big, scary spider.
I crushed it under my
Yeah,
manly
yeah.
boot.
You might be so
Yeah.
powerful, you might be so venomous, but can't handle a size 10.
Fantastic. Right. What's the next question?
Okay,
Oh,
moving
dear.
on. Okay, number 6. The guidance computer built to land on the moon in Apollo 11 was the size of a shoebox at 60 centimeters by 30 centimeters by 15 centimeters and weighed 30 kilos. However, can you tell me what its storage capacity was?
Oh, it's something stupid. I know. It's something like it's smaller than the memory card for a PS2. It was like 64 kilobits.
Oh,
Something
you know what? I'm going to
ridiculous.
give you that based on like this is like fixed memory, so this is like hard disk space. Yeah. I can also tell you what RAM, unless you can tell me what RAM it had.
I might have got confused with RAM and hard disk space.
No. The 74
8-bit.
kilobytes is the fixed memory, is the hard disk space. 74 kilobytes.
Mm.
What? Can you tell me how much RAM it had?
Yeah,
was-
8-bit.
It's probably less than that. Obviously, so it's probably like
It wasn't
5
It wasn't
kilobit.
8-bit. It was 4 kilobits.
Of course it was.
4
Okay, so
kilobits.
a little bit off. A little
Yeah.
bit off.
Yeah, no doubt that 4 kilobyte came on 16 sticks that were half the size of the entire machine.
Probably. It's just amazing at how much that sort of data storage has grown exponentially.
Yeah.
I mean, even when during the lockdown, when people were obviously upgrading their machines and prices were stupidly expensive for like any sort of computer parts,
Yeah.
you were looking at like, an arbitrary number, about £200 for like a terabyte of storage. and now I can find a flash drive that's got like a terabyte of data storage on it for like 30 quid.
Yep.
It's just,
Yep.
flash memory is just so, the technology on it is so advanced nowadays that it can just be fitted into, like I say, a thumb drive.
Well, the thing is, when during lockdown, everybody wanted to upgrade their machines, but of course
There's nothing else to do.
Micron and other companies that were making the chips were closed.
Yeah, because there was a silicon shortage as well.
There was a silicon shortage. The factories were shut. Like nobody was making the chips anymore, and yeah, everybody wanted to buy them, and it was like
Yeah,
isn't it? Demand increases value.
exactly. And there was lack of supply, and demand went skyrocketed.
Yep.
I mean, I think it was Nvidia that did their 30 series release
Yep.
mid global pandemic.
Yep. And
I was like, hey guys, this is going to cost you £260, and I was like, that's great.
yeah, add a
Like,
zero on the end.
They sold out in minutes.
Yeah.
And all
Yeah.
the scalpers, like say, bashed a zero on the end, and before
Yeah.
you know it, because I think I bought you from, I think CEX. I think I bought it. I bought like a really cheap graphics card because my other one blew up, and I bought that for like 20 quid just because I needed something.
Mm.
And then during lockdown, I sold that same graphics card for like £120.
Yeah. 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 See,
People wanted things.
I wanted a 3080, and I built a new machine. Unluckily for me, the Christmas before lockdown, right? But what I did was I went right processor, RAM, solid state drive, case. I've got a 1060. I'll leave that in it for now. When they release the 30 series, I will get a 30 series. I'll get a 3080. Sound logic, normal climate, that's sound logic, you know?
Yeah.
And then it comes round to the release when mid-lockdown, and I'm like, I can't get it. I can't get it from anywhere. And when you look on eBay and things like that, they're selling for £2,500.
Yeah, for the base model as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. That's not for one of the 4-win 3s or anything like that. It's literally
Yeah. For a 3060, 4 gigs of VRAM, bog standard, Bob's your uncle, RRP on them for like 180 quid.
Mhm.
It's
So
stupid, and people
I ended up
like thousands.
sticking with the 1060 for another 6 months, and eventually ended up buying a 3070, which still cost me £700 when I got it.
Mhm.
The
I think I
RRP
ended
on
up
a
waiting-
3070
I
is
waited
about
mine
500
out.
quid.
Yeah, I waited mine out, and I think I ended up getting my 3070 for about 380.
Yeah.
I think during like the period of time where we were told to go out but not go out, but go to a restaurant but stay indoors, and
Which
well,
of course
that's
you
just
listened
a bit
to because you
efficient.
bought a new graphics card.
No, I ordered it online. I'm not crazy.
No, I meant you definitely went out with when you've got a brand new graphics card in your machine at home, you know.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, I went out to all the restaurants.
Yep.
Yeah, Cooking
Contributed.
Simulator is amazing.
It contributed to all the spread of COVID from the comfort of your own living room.
Exactly. I was one of the good boys.
I worked in care, so I actively contributed to the spread of COVID without
For that we thank
having
you.
any choice in the matter. It was either that, like it was either I spread COVID or my family don't eat. So what are you gonna do? Anyway, moving on. Let's move on, shall we? Question 7. Can you tell me who designed the first television in 1925?
Sounds like a James fact to me.
I'm really sorry. No.
Was it Arthur Television?
No, he only invented half of it.
Oh, okay, good. Just the antenna.
Oh, no, that was Tony, wasn't it? Anyway.
Who designed the first television?
In 1925. He patented it in 1922. No, he started playing with it, managed to come up with his idea in 1922, patented it in 1923, and then managed to get his first working television in 1925.
Was it Bruce Forsyth?
You'd think
Before
so.
he went on
You'd
television.
think so.
No,
wouldn't you?
no,
You'd think
that's
so.
why he set up his own career. Love it. I love it. I'm sorry. I know it's not true, but I want it to be.
I'm
Just
afraid.
because,
I'm afraid it's not. But I'm going to go back and rewrite the history books.
He just got tired of dancing door to door, like walking up to thing, knocking on the door. Hi there, I'm a multi-entertainer. Can I come into your house?
He wouldn't go door to door. He'd go to a tower block. Because then
Oh
he
my
can
God,
go
you're
higher or lower.
Oh, you're right. He was
Independent, yeah.
he was moving up in the world. Right. Sorry. Okay. Next question. Who
Oh,
was the actual?
Oh, we're moving on without the answer now, aren't we, James?
I'm sorry.
The name.
Nobody's good at that answer. So.
Yeah, we're done. We don't need the answer. It was Bruce Forsyth. We're done. No, it was a bloke called John Logie Baird. Now, I don't know you. This is an interesting fact. I don't know if you know, but in Hastings there is a Wetherspoons pub called the John Logie Baird. Do you know why?
Was it the first pub or the first building to have a television?
No. No, it's because John Logie Baird lived in Bexhill.
Didn't know that.
Is it because his descendant of his lived there, or
No,
it was?
it's literally
used-
just because John
He
Logie
lived in the
Baird
rough
lived in
vicinity of the
Bexhill,
area.
just up the road from Hastings.
To be fair, that makes sense. Like the. Yeah,
And
you get-
Wetherspoons kind of do this thing, don't they? Where they're like, "Oh, we'll throw a bit of a homage to this or that in our pub name or whatever."
Well, absolutely. Like, for example, yeah, you know what? How much information do we give out here? Because you know what? That's a conversation I should have had beforehand. But like, yeah, you do see it all over the place. You're right. Like, they'll name it after famous people from local areas, and
Yeah, in this
Yeah.
instance, it was John Logie Baird. Okay, question 8. Which company produced the first commercially sold mobile phone?
it wasn't British Telecom, was it?
No.
They probably sold the lines. Was it Motorola?
Hey, there he is.
Oh my God! Well done.
Can you give me the year?
Very nicely done.
Give me the year. It's 2023, mate.
Oh, I don't like you sometimes.
Can I take a guess at the year?
Yeah.
All right, and is this commercially sold? Because mobile phones existed in the military previous to like their commercial selling.
No, this was commercially sold.
Right, 1978.
No.
Damn it.
Higher or lower?
Higher.
Does that mean it's older or newer?
Well, you didn't ask that, did you? You asked
Yeah.
higher or lower, all right? That's another question, all right? That's one of your lifelines already gone. You're going to have to phone a friend now.
Okay, but Adam, guess, because I can't hit multiple. I can't keep on guessing.
Okay.
That's just not fair.
19. 90. So, I mean, you see the big brick ones. I think
Yeah.
that's probably what.
The ones that
Yeah,
had their
what I was
own
thinking.
battery that you, like, carried it, or the suitcase that you, like...
Yeah, the suitcase for gentlemen. So, I mean, was that 70s? That doesn't seem like a 70s thing.
No.
I thought there might be a slightly earlier one, or that they released them earlier and then they became popular in the 80s when everyone decided to be a douche.
I don't know why they called it a mobile phone. It was more of a walkie-talkie, let's face it. It
It was, yeah.
was only two people that bloody had them at the time, weren't there?
Well, yeah, but it made them both incredibly happy before they died of nope.
Lovely long chats. 1986.
84.
Okay,
Yeah, no.
splitting hairs.
Yeah, I'm not going to go over it. I would sit lower. Let's go again. No.
Well, didn't we do well?
Number 9. Okay. The most commonly used piece of technology is the mobile phone.
Mhm.
How many are currently in use in the world? Sorry, I said that wrong. In the world.
Top Gear, very nicely done.
Well, currently in use, as in
Currently
like
in use.
actively being used,
Currently
or
in
like
use. Yep.
okay. Obviously, because you see these during like the Pokemon Go phase, there was that one Thai man from I can't remember if it was Thailand or if it was Vietnam or something.
I was going
but
to
he had
say that one Thai man, and then he went from, and I was like, well, I'm guessing
well,
Thailand.
yeah, but he was from sort of the Southeast Asia. He had a bike, you know, like the old Vespas that had like 1,000 mirrors on them.
Yeah.
But he attached a mobile phone to each one, and then was driving around collecting the Pokemon. And wherever he went, he caused a traffic jam on Google Maps.
I mean, to be
Because
fair, like he did better than my mate did because he just hacked the program and sat in his bedroom and went everywhere.
yeah, there is that. But anyway, sorry, mobile phones.
I'm sorry,
Uh,
ladies and gentlemen. If you did that in order to do Pokemon Go, you're a cheater.
We don't
Absolutely.
condone, we don't condone your action.
You're very, very smart, and I do tip of the hat to you. But it's a tip of the hat and then a fist shake. Yeah, mixed emotions on that one. Right, sorry.
Well, there's at least 3.
Are those the ones that you can physically see in your house right now?
Well, there's mine, there's yours, and there's Nick's.
Oh, that's true.
So there's a little bit more than 3, I suppose. My missus.
I'm using a computer to do this. Like I'm doing Discord on my computer.
I mean, I'm not on my phone, James. It might sound like it with this horrible headset, but I'm not on my phone.
Okay.
There's probably as many mobile phones as there are humans.
How many humans are there then?
Well, that's a different question.
Well, no, it's process of elimination, isn't it? Because then you've got to take
So-
away the infirm and children.
I mean, children have mobile phones nowadays, don't they?
Okay, infants.
Infants have mobile.
We've
So
opened the door.
Yeah.
We're probably in the millions, aren't we? Let's be.
Are we talking in the UK now?
Okay, fine. I'm just gonna guess a number. Okay.
You go, yeah.
200 million.
A drop in the ocean.
God damn.
We're probably okay. So I'm gonna guess
The 8-bit on the moon landing computer all over again.
Yep, yep.
100 billion.
Now that is ridiculous. You were
$100
doing
million.
better when you went along the lines of trying to work out the populace of the of the world, man. Like you'd have got a better answer. Like, there are 8 billion people on the earth. Okay.
And each one has 1 million phones each.
You take away everybody's nan, all right, and your youngest niece.
So a little bit shy of 8 then. So it's probably what, like 6 or maybe 5.
6.84 billion mobile phones in use in the world right now, and they wonder why cancer's so rife. And the silence. And the silence.
Cool. All right. You know what? The joke I made earlier was going to talk about cancer, but like I don't know if any of our listeners have loved ones who's suffering with that, and it's a horrible.
It is a horrible
Horrible
condition.
condition.
Absolutely horrible
Yeah.
condition. There is hypothesis that 5G and 4G and all the rest of it causes it. Who's to know? Oh, there's too much money being made off of these machines to actually get honest answers from companies, so you're never really going to know, are you? Question 10. GPS revolutionized travel after its release in 1983 and further assisted the public by being combined with mobile phones and sat-nav systems. How many satellites are there which assist with GPS systems?
God damn it! I was really banking on you asking what does GPS stand for, which is Global Positioning System.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I don't actually know the answer to the question. Let's say 3,000. There you go.
I mean, there are a lot of satellites in the atmosphere, but there's not that many all localized around GPS. Adam?
Well, because they have to triangulate things, don't they? 'Cause
Yeah,
that's how
which
it
just
works.
means 3, surely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about around 3. Or I suppose if you think of a 3D object, there's going to be what, like 5 at the very least.
Okay. Well, give me a number.
But
Give me a number.
15.
Okay. Okay. Reasonable. There are 38 total satellites that can help with SatNav and GPS.
Really? That
Yep.
few?
38. Yep.
So if I
However,
have my flying monkeys fly into the upper atmosphere and shoot down, like, yeah, a couple of those, then
you're probably more likely to get a SpaceX one that's been listening in on your conversations more than a GPS one.
yeah.
No, 38, but it's actually like they have the capability of having 38 because there are 38 up there that have the capability, but they're actually only probably more using 26.
I'm really honestly surprised it's that few.
Yeah.
It's a lot fewer than I would have thought.
Are we just bouncing signals? Is that
Yeah.
how GPS works?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, so it is just that they're just mirrors.
Yeah.
In a way.
Just you send a packet from your phone, and then that goes up to a satellite, and then that gets bounced back to you, and it.
Right, so
you
it's just
do
a
it,
ping test.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, that's all. That's all how data's sent. It's all sent via packets. It pings from your phone up to a satellite. If you've spoken to someone in the rough geographic location sheet, we back down the same satellite, and then to that person's phone or that person's device.
Yep.
And that's just generally how data transfer works in those
And
sorts
GPS,
of things.
obviously, it will send out to a couple of satellites.
It'll
in order to
triangulate the location.
properly triangulate your signal. Yeah. Okay, there you go. So, a few good answers. Better with the earlier ones, I think. I kind of, like I said, the questions were written by an autistic bloke, so you were screwed from the start, guys. Like, but when you know what it's like, James, you end up with such niche knowledge. Unless you're looking at yourself in the mirror, nobody's going to get all your answers right, are they?
Now, how did we do out of the 10?
I wasn't recording, but I can work it out. So you got the movies, so we'll go with 2 for that. You got ChatGPT 4, but you didn't get OpenAI, so we'll go with 1 for that. iRobot, you got all 3 of the laws, so we'll go for 3. 3 artifacts.
Thank you, I got that on the second attempt. So if you wanted to be a dick, you could be like, I'm only going to give you 2.
No, absolutely not. I mean, these questions were cryptic anyway, so let's be fair. So you got Baghdad battery, so let's go with 1 for that. You didn't get a power plant for the pyramids. I'll give you the fixed memory for the computer, but you didn't get the RAM. And you didn't get who designed the television. You did get the mobile phone. You didn't get how many mobile phones exist, and you didn't get the satellites. So we'll go with 9 out of a possible 16.
More than half is all I can hope for in life.
Yeah, it was good. Well done. Some of them you really surprised me. I mean, some of them you literally guessworked the answer. I'm pretty sure I remember Adam shouting out, "Is it Terminator?" In that voice.
Like, you were like, oh, it's an older film, older than The Matrix. I don't know, bloody Terminator.
Exactly. I mean, you don't buy a ticket, mate. You're never gonna know, are you? But yeah, really good stuff. And you learned stuff at the same time, which is always good with a quiz.
We had fun on the way.
We didn't kill anyone because we're all sat in different rooms, which is.
And we didn't steal anyone's data.
We didn't steal.
I
did. I made the quiz.
I suppose.
If you want to know who invented the TV, Just go to Hastings and travel to Spoons, or look it up online.
Yep, as a matter of fact, if you go into the John Logie Beard, they have his history on the wall.
I thought you were
which
saying have a
is-
TV, but the sound's off.
Which is where I learned. It's where I learned. And here's another one, right? Here's one question for you. Can you guess which one of the questions my partner got right?
It wasn't randomly the three laws of robotics.
No, she's never watched iRobot.
Is it the first one about the movies?
No, she's not a movie. She's not a movie buff.
Okay.
Did she randomly guess 38?
No.
Or does she really like the Egyptians and knows a lot about pyramids?
She doesn't. She doesn't. But she is with a bloke that is neurotically autistic about the Egyptians. So yes, that's the question she got right.
Okay, because she'd heard you talk about it like
Yeah, for
Endlessly
a
for
couple
hours.
for a couple of hours. Yeah.
Oh, those bloody Egyptians badgering on about their bloody power plants. What's he like, eh?
You just can't shut him up sometimes. Sometimes I just put a cardboard cutout of myself in front of him and he just goes off by himself. But I do have one more question for you both, and I'm going to go individually to you. But my final question, and it is subjective, which is why I'm going like this, right? What has been the most revolutionary technology developed by humanity? I'm going to start with James.
Okay, so this is going to be controversial and possibly not.
Well, it's subjective.
Seen
It's
as a
completely
good thing,
opinionated,
yeah.
isn't it? So, like, feel free.
Okay, so all right, fine. All right, so I'm agreeing with Stephen Fry here. So I don't necessarily agree with everything, but I think he made a very good point when he said the printing press was the most revolutionary thing at the time. Not at the time, sorry. He believes that the printing press was the most revolutionary piece of technology throughout history because he can imagine a world without cars, he can imagine a world without planes or any one individual thing. He can't imagine a world without books. And the printing press made the vast variety of books or the cheapness of books a possibility.
Interestingly, mine was books.
Just books in the whole,
Yeah.
so not the printing press, just the
No,
ability.
yeah, exactly. But it ties in
Yeah.
with yours. I mean, but the reasoning behind that for me is because humans are so forgetful, and what
Yeah.
books gave us was long-term
ability
memory.
to write stuff down.
Was extreme long-term memory.
Yeah.
And the ability
Not
to
everyone
retain
can be
information.
Jack Reacher.
No. Adam?
I was thinking along the lines. I was like, oh, what's caused or what's helped along the way, and so I was like, maybe something along the lines of power and sort of the manufacturing of power. So not necessarily like fossil fuels, but just in general, electricity and storage of electricity. You know,
Well, we had to wait
batteries.
all the way until the 1800s for that.
Yeah, but like without power, it's a lot of modern day things wouldn't exist. So my first thought was, oh, the internet was quite revolutionary. Oh, but if we didn't have power, we wouldn't have computers, and so then if
Yeah.
we didn't have computers, so that sort of
Yeah.
backwards compatibility and all that, because
It would have been
we
a
had
completely
cut-
different world if gas had have continued to be the power of choice, wouldn't it?
yeah, exactly. Or just if we didn't, develop, power. What about light bulbs and keeping lighting things up? We'd still be using, as you say, gas, candles, and all sorts of other instruments. Eventually, I mean, we're having problems at the moment with bees dying out. If they keep taking their wax to make candles for everyone, they all died out years ago.
Wait, is that what? Okay, yeah, that's it. That's it.
I can only see a minor flaw with that. I'm pretty sure their wax is a byproduct, so they don't really need it.
Yeah, but they would have been farmed relentlessly, though, wouldn't they? If the only way we could really light up homes and streets would have been through
Yeah,
candles
yeah,
or
yeah. I mean,
torches.
we would have ended up farming cows a lot more.
Oh yeah, we would have found things to burn.
Yeah, exactly. Like you just put 3,000 cows in a shed and then have a tube coming out the side and then bottle up their farts.
Yeah,
Guys,
the youths would have burned things, wouldn't they?
Maybe I'm going too far back here, but what if the most important invention is iron?
No, see, this is where I kind of go because I did think about this. I don't really think you can invent iron. You can
But the
discover.
process,
Yeah,
You
the
can
manufacturing of iron.
Yeah, I understand
I
that.
guess the manufacturer, like,
Yeah.
okay, fine, the conversion process from ore into a metal.
Mm.
As
Yeah.
iron ore is found, you don't find lumps of iron. You find lumps of gold. You find lumps of electrum. You find lumps of silver.
Yeah.
You find a number of other alloys, but you never find. Oh, careful! I've just picked up an iron stone.
Oh look at this, a perfectly formed hammer. Oh, how'd they get here?
Unless you're in an
Yeah.
archaeological dig site.
Yeah.
Oh,
That'd be
look.
amazing if that was true.
Well, maybe the
I wish that was.
Human's great invention was the power of friendship.
I honestly believe it is the greatest treasure, but then again, I have watched far too many 1980s films.
And My Little
Christmas
Pony.
Day at James's house is wonderful. It's all white Christmas. And...
That's James's house.
And the Super
All year
Mario
round.
Brothers, yeah. The
Mate,
terrible
the
film with
original.
Bob Hoskins.
That film was so good though.
I enjoyed it.
Oh, it's so when that little the little bob-omb, the physically accurate bob-omb is just walking around the sewer floor, like chuckle
Yeah.
every time. It looks so cute. Anyway, yeah, I've really enjoyed today. Thank you very much for your time, guys. I'm going to round it off there though. If you guys are happy and you guys are done.
Yeah. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much for coming along, and thank you very much for seeing out our 10th episode with us.
Been a pleasure.
Any more from you, James?
Thank you to everyone who's listened for 10 episodes. You have the patience of a saint. Yeah. And thank you both for having these conversations.
No worries, no worries. Thank you, listeners, again, and take care. Goodbye from me. Goodbye from them.